Hi, welcome to the Real Estate Roundtable, where we discuss all topics real estate. I'm Nick Ahrens.
Hey, and I'm Steve Crowley.
I'm Darren Shepard.
And I'm Jimmy Reed, and we're your hosts.
Hey, I'm Jimmy Reed with the Reed team, and we are here at our Real Estate Roundtable. And I'm here with Lel Huddleston. She's my production partner. But let's pretend you're not my production partner for this, okay?
Okay,
I'm going to be
sounds
asking
good.
you general questions, right? So what is a production partner? Let's just call it a real estate assistant or, a growing realtor,
Yep.
So as opposed to a solo realtor out there trying to figure it out, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so let's start by telling everybody, how long have you been licensed? Well, let even back up before that. Why did you want to get in real estate? How long have you been licensed? And how'd you find your way to the Reed team?
Okay, so my story will resonate with quite a few people. I was a stay-at-home mum for about 2-3 years. Obviously, during the pandemic, raising the little ones, making sure that they were, getting all of their education done and things like that. But really did want to get back into the workforce. So I began studying for my real estate license just after the school resumed. And, I reached out to Jimmy. Coincidentally, Jimmy was you were my realtor of choice, Moved here from the UK in 2012, purchased a home in 2015, and you were my realtor when I purchased that home.
Right. Super
impressed. I believe, how many transactions did you do in 2015?
Oh, gosh. Let's see, 2015, I probably did 65, 70
I think it was
transactions.
closer to 80.
80, okay.
Yeah,
Right.
I had absolutely no idea that you were transacting and performing at that high level.
Right.
Cool, calm, collected. Super impressed with how you reacted with me and put me at ease as a new first time buyer. So great job, thank you for that. And then when we decided to sell our home and move up to a larger home, of course reached out to you, no question, that I would do that. And again, great transaction. Just felt that I wanted to learn more from you. I reached out to you and I said, I want to go back into the workforce. My little ones are, starting to join preschool into first grade. And I was like, I have 3 options here. One, having been an art teacher back in the UK, I was interested in potentially going to home staging, or or into interior design, or potentially follow your lead and get my real estate license.
I remember that when you reached out to me. In fact, I introduced you to one of our designer stagers at the time.
Yep, Sherry at the Well Staged Home.
Yep, and then we, I just remember trying to figure out how you're going to navigate this. That's always my question for, people in general, let alone moms.
Yep.
Right? So, but what I know is that a mom can do, a mom that's determined can do a lot more than the average person. And I'm not just saying that, it's the truth. Talking about spinning plates. And nobody really juggles well or nobody multitasks well, but moms do it pretty good.
I can vouch for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I remember even the first home that I sold you, you were showing me during the walkthrough and we're going to list it. You did all these really cool things. I'm thinking, who did you pay to do this? And you're like, nope, I did it.
Yep.
Right. Yep.
Always been a hard worker.
Right.
Don't like to sit idle. So as soon as I knew that my kids were ready to leave the nest as sorts, I was like, well, what am I going to do? I want to keep up this momentum. And you said, hey, I recommend you get the real estate license. You can use that in the other 2 options, home staging and interior design. It's going to be a useful resource for you. So I, went online, got the course, started it. I loved it. Loved it. Found all the content super.
You went through it really quick.
I did. I powered through it. So basically, I got my real estate license in August of 2021. So I've only been licensed like 10 months.
Okay. So I think you've answered everything on your why.
Yep.
When you're licensed, so 10 months.
Yep.
It seems like a lot longer than that to me.
It really does. Yeah, it really does.
Right. But that's the difference when you're a part of a lot of transactions.
Yep.
And a lot going on.
Yep.
Right. So, and then But listen, you didn't choose, without naming other things or other people, you didn't choose the Reed team right away. At least that was my perspective of it. Now, part of that was that, did I miss something? I'll be honest, I don't care who's watching or whatever. Was it something that I didn't follow up with, or I wasn't ready, or you weren't direct enough? What do you think it was?
I think, to be honest, I wasn't direct enough. I knew that I wanted to work with your team.
Okay.
But, I did want to keep my options open. So, yes, I reached out to a handful of agents, in Orange County.
Right.
And, I did some work experience. That really helped. I did some work experience for a month at another real estate company.
Right.
Had a great experience with them. But I felt that I was going to be helping them start, building their business. And really, at my age and the place that I was in my career, I really didn't want to start from scratch. I wanted to go into a team that already had everything established, all the systems like ClickUp and Follow-Up Boss. I wanted all of that already in place, utilized, everyone understood how it works, and then I just jump in and off I go.
Got it. Yeah. So I recall so I just wanted to see if you and I remembered it the same way. I recall when you got really direct with me.
Yeah.
Right? And then I'm like, okay, boom, right? Let's get this going. That's what it takes. But isn't it true? Let's set real estate aside for a minute, like being in the business. So let me just sidebar. If you're watching this and you're listening to this and you know somebody that you would like to be able to work with, the lesson I think would be direct. Because people that are busy and people that are movers and shakers and they're just crazy busy, they think a lot. They're not always able to just say, they don't have time. Like, if I stop or even make eye contact, it's going to be 10 or 15 or 20 minutes, right? Even today, getting here to do this podcast, I was an hour late because of all those reasons.
Yep.
So I would encourage you just to be super direct. Just be super, super direct. Sometimes you perceive that the person's too busy or we're afraid of being rejected. What I know is most successful people or teams or organizations, they love people that are direct, even if they have no experience. If you're tenacious and you want what you want and you're going to go after it and you're coachable, now all of a sudden they're listening. You're the only one in the room.
Yep. Because
what you need to know is most people don't do that. But I recall saying, okay, hey, well, let's talk, let's rock and roll. And I think I can't believe it's only been 10 months, but I think that, history has proven itself. Your time on the team and your growth, you don't see like a 10-month agent. You seem more like a 10-year agent to me and to so many other people on the team. But I think, what do you think that comes from? When your confidence level is, you're not even the same person when it comes to, you're the same human. You have the same heart. Everyone loves Lel. Clients love Lel. What do you think that comes from?
Well, I think there was a hesitation at the beginning. I wasn't convinced I knew everything. Obviously, I was brand new, not expected to know everything. Yeah. But to put yourself in front of a client, a potential buyer or seller, and feel like you don't have that knowledge base, petrified me. So I wanted to come into a team which really had a really good culture where, you felt like you could approach the other team members and, ask their advice, but also just oversee what's happening in the office and kind of learn vicariously through them how they handle different situations. Okay. So at the very beginning, I had a cubicle just, behind this wall, kind of stuck in the corner. People would forget that I was even here.
And I think you liked that.
Initially, right? But then...
Don't ask me any questions. Please don't ask me any questions.
I was just doing my onboarding. I was, we have a system called ClickUp, which we walked you through all of the different applications that you had to learn.
So it's our checklist, our transactional checklist, thing that keeps us on track, keeps us from forgetting things and makes a client experience excellent is what we're looking to do, right?
So I kind of just kept my head down, worked through that, and then I don't know what happened. You could probably just kind of tell me, but my confidence level, every day you walk into the office and you just don't know what's going to happen. Every day is different. You're put into different situations. And I want to say that's much of the reason is down to you. So I started as an intern, then moved across to becoming your production partner. And obviously you have an established past client and you get loads of referrals and things like that. So you are so established that, I was able to work on so many of your deals. So within 10 months, I've already worked on 20 deals.
Right.
I want to say 8 buyers, 12 sellers.
Right.
Each listing has a different scenario. One's a probate sale,
Right.
one's a trust, one's a 1031 exchange.
That's right.
I don't feel that I would have been able to handle all of those different scenarios had I gone straight away out on
I would
my
I would
own.
argue that maybe agents that are living, that are watching this or listening to it, haven't done a 1031 exchange. They don't know the timelines. They don't even know what that means. It sounds like some sort of board game, but the truth is when you're assisting somebody that does a lot of surgeries or like a lot of coaching, because now these days, I try to get the team to do as much as possible. Right. So, Darren did 72 transactions last year. Nick did 65 transactions or what have you. But collectively, the team did, closer to 200 transactions. So I'll tell you what happened is that in order for me to be effective in all areas, I needed somebody that was committed, assertive, and telling me what they want.
Yep. I'm quite happy bossing you around.
Right. I love it, and you're good at it. I love it. So part of your contract was that you could never lose your British accent. Because it's like Siri on I changed it.
Can I have some of your water?
Right, exactly. On Siri, you could actually make it a British accent. I don't know if you knew that.
I do know that.
Yeah, so you can make it all kinds of things. But anyway, just to mix things up and kind of joking, not joking. But the key is I think your driver. You have a big why behind you, right, as a mom.
Yep.
And you're talented. But I think for anybody watching this out here, I think the takeaway to be, like on our team or any other teams is get started in real estate is to be coachable, teachable, communicate what you want, right? Otherwise, they don't know.
Yep.
You just got to be aggressive, coachable, and show up and, consistently and be studious and make tons of mistakes. You have to be willing to make tons of mistakes because that's the growing field. Unless you're willing to make a ton of mistakes, there is no growing. There's no growth. You hold back, right?
Yep.
And so today you're in the front. Now you've taken over my desk.
I have your desk now.
right. And you're in the epicenter of the office. But so what I would say, let's digress here. Let's go backwards a little bit. For people that are watching right now, right? You decided to join a team. In fact, just recently you had a friend who got their license and came to you and kind of asked you the same question.
Exactly.
It's a matter of, hey, so, because in my opinion, it's the most widely misunderstood, the real estate agent is the most widely misunderstood vocation or career out there. People have no idea. They think you just do open houses, you do all kinds of Instagram posts, and, you just have a cool job. It's flexible. I got into real estate to be super flexible, right? So the question I would say is this. What have you learned that you didn't know, right? What are the biggest aha, holy crap moments, that didn't scare you away from the business where you had to pivot, number one. So a lot of people listening, they're thinking about getting their license, or they're just newly licensed, or they're sitting in a big broker's office and there's just basically a phone in front of them at a desk, and they're completely intimidated by what's going on around them, but no one's offering them help other than, hey, here's a title rep. You should go knock on a bunch of doors, right?
Yep.
What have you learned? What would you tell, what for people that are listening right now, what have you learned? Solo agent? Yes or no?
Not for me.
Okay. But what would your recommendation be for most people that are getting licensed?
Yeah.
Team, solo agent, based on the statistics? What do you think?
I was very honest when my friend reached out to me, super excited that she, just qualified, got her real estate license, and she's interviewing for various positions. in and around Orange County. But, it was exciting that she reached out to me directly to get advice. I mean, I've only been in this industry for just under a year.
Right.
She's watching my Instagram stories. I'm at an inspection. I'm walking through, various properties, showing the interior, showing how pretty the outdoor is, but then also just kind of being honest about, successes and failures.
Right.
Funny situations that I find myself in. And yes, you can kind of see it from, well, this is super attractive and fun, but realistically, it's hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't think I
hard.
really knew what I was getting myself in for. I got my test, which, is very, somewhat straightforward, the process of, qualifying, but then the next step is actually understanding how much you're going to spend your time doing this. It's not a traditional 9-to-5 job. I was a high school teacher back in the UK, taught 11 to 18-year-olds, and that was from 8 a.m. till 3:30 p.m.
Got it.
Then I went into marketing and advertising again, 9 to 5. Could completely switch off in the evenings and at weekends. And then you come into real estate, and I'm answering text messages at 8:15 p.m. because, that's when a lot of our clients are sitting down, they're on Zillow, they're looking at various things, they want to reach out, schedule tours, follow up, how did the home inspection go? So I don't think I really kind of knew that was going to be the case. That's
Hope you guys are listening. I mean, this gets
I mean,
stuff.
I'm brutally honest, and that's what I said to my friend. I said, this is not for everyone. The turnover for real estate agents is super high. It's like 80%
minimum. That's probably being nice
within the first 5 years
at a national level, but not locally. Not in hot markets. Not New York. Not San Francisco. Not LA. Not Orange County. The hot areas, it's way higher because the competition is fierce. So the question is, why is it? Is it because people decide they don't like real estate, or they can't get traction? What's the brutal truth, regardless of what they say?
They're not getting traction. They're not following up with people. They're not committed to,
You
responding.
just said all the reasons why. But the reality is they're not getting any traction. They don't know why.
Yeah.
You know why, because you see,
Yeah.
we're professionally coached.
They leave because they the steady income isn't there.
Right.
They're used to that. And then, being a 1099, like independent contractor, it's not for everyone. You want to have that consistent, income and... Yeah.
You're fading. There you go. Okay. So it's true though. I mean, they people want what's, predictable.
Yep.
Real estate's not predictable. Yep. In fact, right now with the market getting a little wonky, still good, still great, still very much a seller's market. But everyone's like, whoa. Yep. And why is that? And it's mostly because they're listening to sound bites, or they're listening to podcasts, or they're listening to some YouTuber or whatever that doesn't do a ton of transactions, that doesn't have a lot of tenure in the business, that, pays attention to, whether it be tea leaves or whatever, on what's going on with the market instead of real data. The difference is now only after even 10 months, you only look at the data.
Yep.
Right? You only look at the data. So questions for you, right? So what's harder? Showing properties or managing expectations of buyers?
Showing properties is pretty straightforward. Obviously, managing expectations is critical, and that's something that you need to observe. The veterans of the business coaching you through that, people who are producing and transacting on a regular basis, are obviously doing something right.
But what's harder? If I'm a realtor, if I'm listening to this and I'm new and I don't know why I'm not able to convert somebody for something they say they really want.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. What's the hesitation?
That's the question. Is what's harder, showing properties or managing a buyer's expectations, and why?
Managing expectations is considerably harder.
But why is it and you're probably being nice, but why? Talk to me. Tell me why. Because a lot of people listening to this don't understand that.
I had, I've had quite a few clients who, maybe one spouse is very interested in purchasing property, the other spouse is on the fence. You've got to figure out that dynamic. You also need to know the why they're buying this. You know, are they wanting to, downsize or save a bit of money, or are they trying to grow their family? You need to understand the why, remind them of the why, coach them through that. And also, when it comes to negotiations and strategy, you know, I'm learning from the best in regards just to managing their expectations with, purchase price and credits and repairs and things like that. It's a competitive market, so sometimes you're not going to get everything on your wish list.
Right. Why is it that no matter good market, bad market, it doesn't matter? Why is it that as human beings, as realtors, that what is it that keeps us from telling people the truth that is going to get them what they want? What is it? Is it at the end of the day, if we were to poll all the buyers and sellers out there, all the people listening, you know, and you were to door knock or stand down at the pier with a microphone, what would they say? Do they want to know the truth for them to be able to get what they want to realize? You know, they may not do it at that point, but at least they want to know. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
What is it that keeps us from telling them that?
Sometimes just not feeling like it's your place, not being assertive enough, not having the confidence just to really come back down to that, break it down to them.
So now let's shift. Take your realtor hat off mentally. I was your realtor. You know, I'm not passive, right? But I think you appreciated what you said early on, and I can't re-articulate it, but what I heard is that I told you trusted me because I told you the truth.
Yeah. Can I use an example?
Sure.
So when we were in the process of house hunting for our home, we reached out to you and said, hey, you know, we've seen a property in Mission Viejo, whichever city it was. And you said, fantastic, let's go and have a look at it. We toured the place, loved it. It was at the beginning of the pandemic. I want to say it was it was mid-pandemic. Anyway.
Yeah, you were.
We said, hey, we'd love to put an offer in on this home. And you said, it's too late. But it had only just started showing homes. They'd only just had like the first few showings. And we were like, but how are we too late? Well, you haven't got yourself prepared. You haven't got your pre-approval. You haven't got everything lined up. This is going to move extremely quickly. So we need to get that established so that when, you know, the next property comes up, we can pounce on it.
Right. And there was no next property on the radar.
Not at that moment. So I left very disheartened.
Right.
I was a bit frustrated with you.
Right.
But then what did I go and do?
Right. Yeah, I know. I know.
I went and got myself ready.
That's right. And then you were ready. And then the right home that you love now showed up. But think about it. If I'm your physical therapist and you want to get back and be active again, right?
Yep.
Are you going to love me for the rest of your life if I'm not willing to stand in the gap between the fable you're telling yourself, the story you're telling yourself, and the truth? If I am not going to care about you as a physical therapist to get you better, to push through the pain, and it's probably going to hurt what I'm going to ask you to do, and I'm going to tell you to keep doing it.
Yep.
Right? You're never going to walk again. You're never going to run again. You're never going to hike again. And you're going to think about this and you're going to blame me probably or be frustrated. The reality is, though, if I'm the professional, I got to think less about me and care more about you. Yeah. That's hard. Like you said, a lot of us feel like it's not our place. I would argue, and most buyers and sellers would argue, it's absolutely your place to tell me the truth. Right? Don't backhand me with it, right? But, you know, sometimes it's needed. But the reality is it's most of the time it's not. It's just communication. It's being honest, right? And so that's uncomfortable. But it's okay to be uncomfortable, you guys. It's just uncomfortable to do it. I get it. So be uncomfortable. What's worse? Being uncomfortable for a short time so that way people can benefit for a long time? I think someone's coined the phrase, no pain, no gain. Everybody likes it, right?
Yep.
You know, or Nike with the swoosh, just do it. These are all the same reasons, right? No one feels like they want to do it. If you wait until you feel right to start real estate or start doing the things that you need to do, it's going to be forever. And it's going to be in your pattern of activities are going to be so infrequent that you'll never achieve what you want to achieve. That's the reason. Those are the reasons why the failure rate is so high. Why don't leaders in the real estate industry in these big, offices, why aren't they telling people? You don't have to answer, I'll say it, so that way I'm the only one getting in trouble, is because they're collecting E&O, they're paying fees, they're doing all these things, and they have numbers, and it just, you know what I mean? And they think there's strength in numbers, and really the broker knows that's why they're not. There's no strength in numbers. A smaller team of effective people that are like-minded are always going to outperform a big, giant office of individual people, right? So, why don't they tell them? Because those offices would be empty. And here's the other reason. Because they know that more than half the people aren't going to put in the work. They're just not going to be honest because they can't get over how they feel. I think most people would like to, and most people would like to think that they do. But you and I let's be honest, you and I have had those conversations, and I'm like, hey, did you tell them? And you're like,
I tried.
Yeah. But the only reason is it's hard.
Well, for example, yesterday I was really umming and ahhing about a text message that I was going to send out. I think I probably spent 25 minutes scripting this text message.
Right.
And you just quickly looked at it and made a couple of small changes and then sent it across. You've done this so many times, nearly 1,600 transactions in your career. So you're, well versed at how to handle all of these scenarios. But yeah, I just was overthinking it. I was trying to put it in the sweet kind of British friendly way.
Sure.
I should have been way more assertive and just said, give us the $10,000 credit.
Exactly.
This is what we're expecting. This is what
This is what they're doing.
This is what needs to happen.
Kind of pretend like you're having some bangers and mash and you got a pint in your hand, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So but the reality is that that's true. That's when you're really taking your eyes off of yourself and you're actually helping people at the end of the day, right? Yeah. So in a nutshell, right? The numbers are so high for people failing. So you've already established definitely you don't recommend people go solo. Try to get, not everybody has an internship program. Not everybody is hiring an assistant.
Yep.
Right? But if you're going to sit in an office, wouldn't you want to sit near the highest performing agent so you can just sit there and listen to them on the phone and right, and see how they operate? The more of that, the better. Right?
In the first year, how many transactions would you anticipate a brand new fresh agent to convert? So
the national average is about 3.5 transactions.
Okay.
The Orange County, California average is about 5.5, depends on the data that you're looking at, 5.5, 6 transactions. But keep in mind, the real question is this, not how many people, how many part-timers because they were well-connected in mom's groups or sports group, whatever it is, surfing community, right? I'm automatically going to get 6, 7, 8 transactions a year. And then pretty soon after a while, unless you're really good, probably not going to get that many, right? Because now you're exposed. Now you're in this fishbowl of oh yeah, he's nice, or she doesn't really know what she's doing, right? They might still love you and be your friend, but they're going to be like, no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So the reason I asked about, how many transactions a first year agent would get is because I was mentally, calculating what the benefit of going out on my own would be as a solo agent without that support structure in place.
Got it.
Versus, joining a team and maybe working under someone that is going to be able to coach me through. I can observe them and interact with them vicariously through them and basically get a master's class.
Got it.
And that's what I wanted. I was I'm going to go down the route of getting a master class, being exposed to all of these different scenarios. And then when I've done that, nearly 20 transactions that I've done with you at this point, and it's not even a year, I feel like I'll be in a way better, more assertive and confident place to actually start taking on doing my own production.
It's true. It's 100% true. And I would just say that your growth, not just because your interaction with me, but with the rest of the team and the coaching and everything that we do operationally from a marketing standpoint, your way ahead of a lot of the people that we work with. You know this. I mean, you're not a boastful person, which I love, but you know this. The professionals that we deal with on a day in and day out basis, you're having to do most of the work. And it's not because they're unwilling, it's because so many of them get deer in the headlights and the thing's going to fail unless you do these things. Yeah. Right? So it's not only just knowing what to do, it's knowing how to do it, how to interact, play nice in the sandbox, be helpful, kind, thoughtful, all those things, right? So anyway, hey, thanks for being on the podcast. I hope if you're listening that you recognize that, it's not an easy, it's not an easy thing to become a realtor, not even close to being easy, in a market like Orange County. What I would just tell you at this point is if you're trying to be a solo agent, you better have a lot of people that already trust you, and you should have the tools and, the support staff and all the systems to be able to support you. But just educate. I think I just want to applaud you for having the humility to say, I need a masterclass. And there's, people that spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on, on medical school know that they need to intern. And if they could sleep in a broom closet that's close to the OR room of this certain surgeon that is within their specialty, that's what they're going to do. Even if it means I'm just going to get them coffee. And here they are spending, $300,000-$400,000 on their education. Why? Because they want a master class. Yep. How often do those opportunities come up, right? So congratulations. I think that has a lot to do with your success so far, and we're going to be super excited to see you and see how you grow in the future. So anyway, stay tuned for more podcasts. We're going to be doing these more frequently and hopefully adding value to real estate. And that's a wrap. We'll see you next time.
Hey, thanks again for listening to the Real Estate Roundtable. If you'd like to connect with any of the sales partners here on the Reed team, our information is below, and we'd love to chat with you.